Hello, football fans, and most importantly, United Football Media football fans. One more time, for the last time this season, we are back in better than ever. This is United Football Media's Tell Me About It, and we are the DAR Sports Crew here bringing you the number one recap show in spring football. We had our championship game just this past weekend, gentlemen. Just a quick reminder, we want to tell everybody, stay tuned to United Football Media. In the offseason, they've got some new shows that they're going to announce sooner than later, stuff that they're going to be keeping you up. The content's going to keep on rolling here in the United Football Media, and it ain't going to be just the UFL. More on that. Like I said, stay tuned to the channel. Check it out. If you want some more of us for your offseason blues, we are the DAR Sports Media team. Check us out right here on this wonderful app that you're on already. YouTube, DAR Sports Media on YouTube. Check out our YouTube channel. We do basketball, football, and wrestling. Sometimes some film, sometimes some music. As I always warn, on the DAR Sports Media side of things, it is not PG like it is here on this very professional, tightened up programming that they provide you with on the United Football Media. It is not PG over on our side, but we do our best to bring you the same type of fun that we bring you here on this show. Speaking of the fun that we bring on this show, we will be back on a monthly basis to recap the biggest stories in football that have gone on past and what it means going forward. And that'll be everything. That'll be if something pops up in the United Football League, we'll be there. NFL, college football, the IFL coming up. We got some things moving and shaking with that possibly going down next season. And we're also, myself and Webb, are very plugged into the ELF, European League of Football. So any big stories coming out of any of those leagues, we will be here, the DAR Sports Media crew, on Tell Me About It. We'll be here on United Football Media, recapping that stuff for you monthly. And like I said, please stay tuned to the United Football Media social media channels as they fill you in on the new stuff that they're going to have going on. Gentlemen, we had a championship game. Well, we and the Stallions had a championship game because the San Antonio Brahmas were nowhere to be found. Unfortunate, man. You know what they say, the Starks from Game of Thrones. The lone wolf dies, but the pack survives. And the lone wolf on the Brahmas bandwagon last week, I died. I also made the metaphor that, hey, this is going to be like the Alamo because I'm going to have the Brahma bullpen coming in to back me up on this pick of the Brahmas, and it ended for us just the same way that it ended for those brave gentlemen at the Alamo. Unfortunately, the Brahmas get dog walked in every way imaginable. Offense, defense, special teams. It was a pretty tough watch for most of it. As we have seen them do before, the Stallions pull away. They overwhelm in the second half. Great defensive game plan. They were able to, they're up there stuffing the run while staying in too high, basically stuffing the run without having to stack the box. AJ Smith's offense had no answer for that. The Brahmas could not get anything done the entire game. The Stallions eventually, time after time after time, of the Brahmas not being able to get anything done on offense, their defense finally began to wilt, and those power runs began to gash and gash and gash, and it ends up being a very decisive three-peat championship win for the Stallions. Incredible accomplishment, a three-peat. Hey, man, we said in the beginning, Birmingham is probably the best team. We have said throughout the season, Birmingham's probably the best team. And the main thing we were talking about is, they've kind of underachieved in the last few weeks. If they don't come out and play their best football, the Brahmas are going to jump on them. But then they did come out and play their best football. Stallions looked awesome. They looked like a championship team. Three-peat, an incredible accomplishment in any place, in any league. Birmingham Stallions are your 2024 United Football League champions. Tay, tell me about it.
Yeah, I definitely had the Stallions to win, but I did not expect the Brahmas to not show up. it definitely surprised me because even when watching the game, it started off 0-0. You're like, okay, might be one of those slow starts. Okay, then halftime's 8-0. You're like, okay, well, the Brahmas are gonna come out in the second half. They're not gonna just not show up, and they really just didn't wake up. Like you thought it was gonna happen, but it didn't. Like they didn't. Nobody showed up whatsoever. Offense, defense, coaching, nothing. Like I don't know. It's like they were playing to get to the championship. Because I say before the season, this wasn't one of the teams on the radar to, win the championship. So it's as a whole, they did have a great season, but like when they got to the big game, I don't know. Like they completely just forgot how to play football. The Stallions didn't really play good football either. They won, but like, did they need to play good football? Not really. AJ Martinez didn't have MVP kind of game. He won. He didn't even have 100 passing yards. Didn't need 100 passing yards. So, I mean, the Brahmas, like, I feel like if they just showed up, like, they could have made this game look a lot better than what it did. But just as a whole, it's kind of disappointing. Ricky Person Jr., he was running all over the place. Had that big 44-yard run. He even ran out of gas. Towards the end of the run.
It was pretty crazy.
Yeah,
pretty crazy. Martinez getting the MVP, less than 100 yards passing. When you got Ricky Person, who was the engine that really fueled this win, along with Kaiva Tizino, the linebacker who had 8 tackles and forced a huge fumble. 2 of them, I think. Interesting to give it to Martinez. Not sure that's the foot you want to put forward. Because the NFL always people always give the NFL a hard time for that. Oh, it's basically the quarterback of the winning team. That's what the award should be called. The quarterback of the winning team award. That's kind of how it went this time. I don't know if that's a good precedent to set, but it is what it is. Keep going.
Yeah, and to my last point, the Brahmas, like, just the effort. Like, I don't want to assume too much on Chase Garbers and stuff, but I feel like on those runs, needing a yard, just gotta have more awareness of where the first down marker is, stuff like that. I thought it was kind of odd, like the slide. I thought that was crazy. That's all I had to really say about the Brahmas.
So there were some things going around. Some people thought that maybe Garbers has a camp invite extended to him or something that had something to do with it. Look, all I'm going to say about that is, being a 49ers fan and having to sit through 4 years of Jimmy Garoppolo, there's no level of incompetence that I could see on a football field and think that it was anything other than you just doing a stupid damn thing. That to me just looked like an extremely stupid thing to do. When he slid on with a yard to go, but hopefully more to come on whatever the deal with that was, whatever the deal with us not seeing hardly any of John Lovett. It is what it is, man. Axe, what'd you think?
Definitely thought that the Stallions just came out, was really dominant. Initially, the Brahmas defense played well. You look at Martinez passing yards, he didn't really throw for a lot. He was really inefficient out there. The run defense eventually gave out. That was just due to the Brahmas' struggles offensively. I remember it was a point where their defense got to stop, and then they had 12 men on the field, which gave up some more field position for the Stallions to chew up clock. So it was just like mental mistakes like that. And like Tay alluded to earlier, Garber's not stretching out on that 3rd and 1 where you had the angle, and then them not getting the 4th down. It was just like minor things like that. And it was unfortunate because they were having a really good season. But the Stallions showed once again why they're a dominant team. And they proved it once again. They could beat you in a multitude of ways. They showed it was a running game this week. At times they could beat you with the passing. At times they could just smother you with the defense. They're just a well-rounded team on all 3 levels. And hopefully next season, the Stallions have a better fan turnout in Birmingham. Because they have a really quality team down there. So
yeah, I don't know who else in pro sports is 3-peating. I believe that there was some sort of stat in all the major sports leagues. Nobody's done it in 25 years. and you people down there in Birmingham can't show up to support that team. Like, my goodness gracious. True. We all know that you're one to really sugarcoat how you feel about performances that you see and lack of effort. So please go ahead.
You know, when I was watching the game, something's like hit me as I started watching it, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Brahmas got this." This was before the game started. I was like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure the Brahmas got this." I was actually with my grandfather. Obviously, it being Father's Day, it was my grandfather. So, he was asking me about, because he doesn't know a whole lot about the UFL. So I was kind of filling him in, and I said, just off of what you see right here, who do you think's gonna win this game? And he was like, this team. He pointed at the Stallions, and I said, why? And he said, they just look like a better football squad. And I was like, you don't know anything about this league outside of a couple games that he's had the chance to watch. And his thought was the Brahmas are not going to win. And then the game started. And I was like, wow, did not expect it to be that bad. I was thinking, close game. Very bad performance from the Brahmas. For those of you who bet that plus 1,600, it hurts.
That had to have been a dagger to the heart, the spleen, the in between the ribs. Don't smile, Tay. I see you up there, man. To get that close and then them completely just no show and get their asses whooped. This is a PG show. I apologize, but that's what that was, an ass whooping. And you were that close to that plus 1,600, boy.
But you got to think about it. In sports. So with sports betting, right? You can do what they call the futures bets, right? And the futures bets allows you to not only bet on championships, but it can bet on championship appearances. Who makes it out of this conference? Who makes it out? So if you had the opportunity to bet that might have been a plus 500, plus 600, more so than, obviously plus 1,600. But there was a chance for that to actually be something, be something. I don't know if they did that, because I didn't check, of course, on all the sites to see. And I don't believe, I could be wrong, I don't believe FanDuel had a lot.
No, not
a lot on there.
Not the beginning.
Yeah, so
next year. Yeah.
They better for sure. But I think with the Brahmas, a lot of people felt like, oh, we didn't expect them to get this far, and at least they, it's like that, participation trophy type of feeling, like that, even in a loss, we can take. No, there was nothing you could take from this. If you fought and you lost by a touchdown, or you lost by a field goal, then you say, man, nobody expected us to be here, and we made it, and we did it, and we were this close. Now we got something to build, and we come back next year, we'll kill these guys. We're gonna take care of. We got all that other stuff. No, you don't have any of that. No, you making it there and then getting washed like that is abomination. It's disrespectful to the game of football to get to the championship game and lay an egg like that. That was just terrible. I think all of you kind of alluded to it a little bit, that people were kind of having their own suspicions or thoughts about why some of the effort of the Brahmas might not have been fully there. I can't obviously speak on that because I don't obviously know. None of us actually know, but it just did not feel like the Brahmas cared about winning that game. Like that's what it felt like watching. I was like, do they even care about being here? Like, you showed that. I mean, we talked about this, right? The only team that beat the Stallions this year are the Brahmas. You know what to do to beat them. You did nothing that resembled what you did to win. But I did mention a couple weeks ago that with the Stallions, they were slowly looking like a team who was just trying to get through the regular season. And once the regular season was over, they could turn up a notch and they're going to try to win the championship. And that's what dynasties do. If you watch the NFL, a lot of people say, oh, I don't think the Chiefs are going to do it this year. I don't know. I think da-da-da. And then what the Chiefs do, they go back to back. People are, looking and saying maybe we could see a three-peat. That would be insane. Just want to, if we saw a Stallions do a three-peat and then the Chiefs do a three-peat, because we don't see three-peats often in history at all. So you got to give them credit, man. I think all credit has to be due to the Stallions to go out there and do what they did back to back to back, and then do it in the fashion that they did it. I can't say enough about their defense. The defense is what really was the key, because the Brahmas couldn't get anything going, anything. So that defense was on fire, man. I just can't say enough about that. But the Brahmas, like I said, when you get whooped very badly in a championship game, it takes you a while to find yourself as a team a little bit. You got to come back to where you were. It's football, so I can reference how bad the Broncos got slaughtered by the Seahawks. And they came back, but they didn't. It took a couple years to get Peyton. I'm not going to say anything about Peyton Manning that year, but it's just so embarrassing for a team, and very much it like breaks your confidence, because you came in like, we're gonna be champions, and then you leave and it's like, this is the most. Was that like the most lopsided game this year? It felt like it was. I mean, one of the most lopsided games this year. It definitely felt like it. So
considering the state,
I don't know. So I can't. I don't know, man. I think when you look at what happened with the MVP situation, I think it's a little interesting. That's what I will say. Adrian Martinez did not have one of his better games, but a win is a win. And most times the MVPs, what do? They give it to the quarterback, And he had 3 touchdowns, right? So, I mean, I guess it's hard to argue against it, but that defense.
Yeah.
He had 2. I think he had 2 rush touchdowns and a passing touchdown.
Just two. I believe 2 rusher.
No,
I thought he had 2.
He had 1 pass.
He had 3, right? He had 3.
Okay. Well, shit.
Yeah.
3 touchdowns. Okay. All right. So he was.
Look, I was trying to give him some credit, because I was like, yards wise and efficiency wise, he didn't do really anything. But those touchdowns matter, I guess. 3 touchdowns makes all the difference. But I don't know, man. I just feel like this was a game that the Brahmas needed to show something, because I think most of us expected the Stallions. Obviously not you, Eric, because you picked the Brahmas, but I think in your heart of hearts you knew. You can't bet against a team that's been there before and has done it before.
Three-peat, yeah.
And that's just what it is.
We covered how Martinez was a standout player. Let's go around the room real quick as we cap off this season. Each one of you give each 2 guys our standout players to you. Tay, who stood out in the UFL this year? Who do you expect to see possibly in an NFL camp in August?
I'll start off with someone who I said in early March, before the season started, Hakeem Butler. Predicted a great season. I believe I did say offensive player of the year. I was right. Yeah, I mean, had the most receiving yards, even after a slow start. Had the most receiving touchdowns. I mean, yeah, he just,
and it ain't just the yards, it's the way it looked a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Because he had just some spectacular dominant plays.
Mm-hmm.
Speed concerns, but the same speed was there in college where he was dominant. The same speed is there in the UFL where he's dominant. So, hey, I'm very much down with the receiver room.
6'5" too.
Like the receiver room in flex. His college quarterback plays on a certain Bay Area team. Oh, Brock Purdy with the San Francisco 49ers. I'll take Hakeem Butler on our preseason squad. Please and thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm with you on that. Who else you got, Tay?
Adrian Martinez. Someone who got counted out. Like beginning of this season when the Stallions were switching quarterbacks. I won't say any names. We had guys saying he should move to running back and he needs to go run routes, stuff like that.
Which is crazy, because if anybody knows how hurtful of a phrase that is to be told that a quarterback should be moved to running back,
oh yeah,
it would be Mr. Jeffrey Axel down there.
Yeah, I mean,
He knows how. If anyone knows how hurtful of a phrase that is him, and yet there he was, creating it on to other people. Oh,
Hey man,
yeah,
I
go
was
ahead,
just
Vic.
basing it off of the last time I saw him. I didn't think he would be a professional level quarterback, like based off his college film, but I was wrong. He proved me wrong. But the players that I was impressed with, Breland Speaks, I definitely see him being on somebody's roster. I probably see him getting signed because the way he could pressure the quarterback, like he could be a rotational D lineman on any team. So I'm expecting to see him signed. I would like to see Chris Rowland signed as a special teamer. To see him in person,
I think
a
there's
man so
rumors
with
out there
300
that
yards.
I think there's rumors that he's pretty much already on the way, that he's going to be signed. So yeah, it's a good call.
Yeah, like he really, really impressed me. Jordan Williams off the Brahmas too. I like the way he played. So I can see him like being a splash player. It's a lot of guys, man. Like this league is really talented. Like people really like Deion Kane probably get opportunities. Sternberger. It's so many different dudes. Sal
I can't
Cannella.
believe you haven't said your guy, John Trey Kirkland.
Oh yeah, of course, John Trey. Shout out to John Trey.
Route God, the route God. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Like he gonna get his opportunity as well. So
True.
yeah.
What do you think?
Initially, I was gonna say Akeem Butler and Adrian Martinez, but since Tay said both of them, I'm gonna keep Akeem Butler on there because I thought he like Tay said, it was a little slow start, but he picked it up, and I mean, he absolutely did what I think a lot of us some of us expected him to do, and he showed out. The other person that I'm gonna name here is a Detroit Lion. He's gonna be a Detroit Lion soon, and that is Jake Bates, because the kickers matter. I believe we've had this conversation. I believe Tay, right? I think Tay has said, I think on not only this show, but on our DAR show as well, kickers matter. From the very first week, Jake Bates basically like put his stamp on the league. That was the 64-yarder was the most impactful thing of that week, right? That first week. So I think from then it was like you almost kept your eye. And it's weird because it's a kicker, so we don't always hold kickers in that same. But I mean, we from Baltimore, so Justin Tucker is beloved out here. Obviously not by Tay, but but in terms of like everybody
Tucker,
else,
he respects Tucker.
I mean, you gotta respect Tucker's leg. It's just he's amazing at what he does. I think Jake Bates just when we were looking at names to stick out, I don't think Jake Bates was the one. I think the kicker that people were talking about was destroying. That's the one people were talking about the most in terms of So Jake Bates came and he said, "Nah, this is my house. It's me. I got it." And I mean, he obviously, you're not gonna hit every field goal, not gonna make ace every kick, but he was phenomenal. And because of the fact no one expected that, and it led him to be actually get a job in the NFL. And I think that's important. And I think that's the most important thing about it, is that a lot of these guys are going to be going to the league, and they've been able to springboard and catapult themselves. And I think that's very important for them to have done that, and for Jake Bates to do that as a kicker. And I think the very first week, I think we said it on here, that was his ticket. That was that was it. Like the moment he did that, it was like, okay, everybody's watching, a million people watching, who knows how many people watching online. You're in. You're good. And so I gotta give it to him.
Yeah.
So I've got to go ahead. What's that?
It's perfect because he's staying in the same building, and the Lions only have 3 outdoor games all season. So I mean, like, that's perfect for a kicker. I mean, he shouldn't miss. I really do think that that's gonna be great to see. Like, he'll translate just fine. just based on the situation, staying home, stuff like that.
So I've got two kickers actually for mine. Surprise people, the linemen. I'm going with some kickers, but also real quick, I wanted to shout out, John Lovett, Anthony McFarland, Ricky Person Jr., Darius Victor. Love the go. You guys tote the rock. Love how hard all you guys run. All those guys could produce in the NFL. Absolutely, in the right system, in the right situation. The leap is not as big for running backs. I genuinely believe all those guys would be great producers and great additions to an NFL squad. I also like my guy Wyatt Ray down the San Antonio Brahmas. Love the combination of explosiveness, of strength, short area burst, the smarts and scheming that he plays, the craftiness that he plays the defensive line with. Another guy we're very well known out there in 49er land for getting the most out of prospects and putting them in a position to succeed. Pick up that phone, baby, if a Bay Area phone number calls. But I also like Andre Smith from the St. Louis Battlehawks, the kicker, who was actually statistically the best kicker in the UFL. Jake Bates had the star-making moments, but Smith had a higher percentage and hit quite a few from 50-plus himself. So Andre Smith, fantastic. Matt McCrane from the DC Defenders also hit a ton of clutch kicks, ton of 50-plus yarders, high percentage, did a great job this year. Those are my guys who stood out to me this year that haven't already been taken, haven't already got a shout out. You also actually forgot your guy. We got to, of course, shout out Daywood Davis, another guy who I believe I've heard. Right? Yeah, is getting picked up by a team. He's getting picked up by the Panthers. So that will be interesting. What will be interesting is the offseason here on the United Football Media. Like I said, stay tuned to the social media channels. They've got some big announcements for their plans for the offseason. And stay tuned. You'll see us back here monthly covering football all across the spectrum. And we're very excited to do that. And again, if you want more of us, in the meantime, DAR Sports Media right up there in the search bar. YouTube, we do basketball, football, wrestling, TV, movies, and music. Again, it's not a PG environment, so please put the kids to bed if you jump on one of our videos. We thank so much United Football Media for giving us the opportunity to be on here, to use this platform. We hope we did a great job for you guys. We look so forward to being back next year. I do believe with some of the plans that will be announced on United Football Media's social media, some of the shows that they have coming up for the offseason, that you will probably see my face on some of them at times. You will see some of the team members here on faces on those shows at times. So we will be plugged into that as well. Thank you guys for all of the awesome support this year. One more time, this is United Football Media. Tell me about it.